You're on.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for Next Stop New York's very first pet seminar. Next Stop New York is a real estate agency, and I work there with my colleagues, Sarah and Jamie, and the three of us are pet lovers. So we thought that this would be a terrific community service to bring some specialists to you to talk about some of the issues that your pet may have been dealing with during the pandemic, transitioning through the pandemic, and also sharing the love. We have a specialist here who started her own not-for-profit to help adoption agencies work with finding new pet parents and forever homes. So let me start first by introducing my first colleague, Sara Laszlo, who will be managing the technology for today. Sara, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. I wanted to thank you all so much for attending today. I hope you're all doing well. And I will be, as Lisa said, managing the technology. So I'm in particular monitoring the Q&A. So if you have any questions for our wonderful panelists, our wonderful experts, please ask away, and I'll find a good time, either in a break or at the end, to get your questions answered. So thank you so much, and look forward to it.
Thank you, Sara. That's great. And I also want to introduce my colleague, Jamie, who has 2 dogs, who's going to share a little bit about us about them, and also her role with Next Stop New York.
Thank you, Lisa. I could share hours and hours of stuff about my dog. So we'll hold back a little bit. But I do have 2 of the cutest dogs in all of Manhattan. I think so, at least. And they are 8 and 11. One is right here behind me. That's Bailey. And as a proud pet owner, I'm also a real estate agent. We help lots of people find their homes with pets in the city. So this is, this is a very important topic for us. And there's my dog crying in the background if you hear it. So, we wanted to thank you all for coming today. This is a very important topic for us, to our hearts. So we're excited to talk to you guys about all this. I wanted to just point out there's a Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. There's a chat box and there's a Q&A box. First and foremost, we can't see you, but we do want this to be as interactive as possible. So if you want to say hi, how you doing, you can use the chat box. But for questions specifically, so that we can answer them live and have our experts handle them, can you use the Q&A box for us? The Q&A box will allow us to manage those questions a lot easier, and we'll be able to address them. We do want to hear your questions, so please do feel free to ask away, anything pet related. Thank you again for coming.
It sounds like somebody's looking for a little attention in the background there.
He wants a treat. He wants my attention. For sure.
Okay, Jamie, you're going to introduce our first guest.
Absolutely. So I'd like to introduce Annie. Annie with Asbury Bark. I've known Annie for quite some time. And Annie has groomed my dog, Riley, who's not in this picture, but my Cavalier. And for sure, during the pandemic, I really needed her help. I went and got some clippers myself, had to do it myself. And I'm so excited to hear all the things that I really needed to know while we were stay-at-home orders in effect. But obviously now, knowing that we've gone through all this, I think it's a good time to really understand and get those tips. We never, who would have ever thought we would have had to do these things on our own? I certainly never want to do it, to be honest. That's why I like Annie. So I'm going to pass it on to Annie to give us some tips and tricks of the trade of grooming.
Hello. Thanks, Jamie. So, hi, everyone. Thanks so much. Oh, let me look in the camera. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. So I'm just going to give a little bit of about myself, a little about me. So I've been grooming for about 6+ years now. I've been in the pet grooming business, though, overall for almost 10 years. I started at a large chain that probably everybody knows about, and then just worked my way from there with our business, the one that Marina and I have, Asbury Bark, in-home pet grooming. We basically offer the salon experience in your home. So from everything that we've been taught throughout the years, we're bringing it to you. We bathe your dog, we brush your baby, we blow dry him or her with our equipment. We bring our equipment. So that's what we do. But we also are, because we have the knowledge from all these years, we of course like to teach along the way, and we're slowly building our Asbury Bark family, we like to call everybody. So for Asbury Bark family members watching, thank you so much for joining and watching. So I'm just going to get into it. So first things first, when you are trying to groom your dog, starting off, or cat, starting off with a clean pet is the best route to go. A clean pet is a happy pet for the most part, I would hope. So when shampooing and conditioning your pet, 2 thorough shampoos throughout your whole pet's body, follow up with a nice massaging through of conditioner, is the best route to go. I would stay away from, just me as a professional, stay away from shampoos and conditioners that have sulfates in them, that have parabens in them as well, and also have artificial colors. Oh, thanks so much, Sarah. This is my slideshow. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So stay away from sulfates, parabens. Those ingredients are usually added into shampoos to create that sudsy effect that make you think, oh yeah, my hair's clean. But you know, what those agents wind up doing is stripping the coat of not just the dirt, but also good bacteria, stripping the shine out as well. So yeah, shampooing your pet is good, but you also want to follow up with a conditioner to add back the shine as well into your pet's coat. For dogs specifically, stay away from like peppermint or like eucalyptus scented kind of ingredients. It can create an adverse reaction. And for cats specifically, stay away from like citrus type of ingredients. Shampoos that, and conditioners too, that we would recommend as pet care professionals would be, for the next slide, would be like Nature's Specialty, Burt's Bees is a good one as well, Earth Bath, Esprit. Those are all really good shampoos to use for your pet. Now, if your pet is showing signs on his or her skin, showing signs of like irritation, redness, not just after using a shampoo or conditioner, but even before, definitely consult your pet's veterinarian, because the shampoos that are sold on for consumers over the counter may not be enough to help with alleviating your pet's skin. It may be more of an issue that your veterinarian would have to consult with you through. Me as a pet care professional, as a dog groomer for almost 10 years, I've seen so many dogs and cats come in with really badly irritated skin. Sometimes it's due to just their breeding. Other times it's due to the food that they're eating. So definitely, if your pet has like really dry, flaky skin or yeasty kind of skin as well, and you're noticing this before even giving your pet a bath, consult your veterinarian. So my little tips as well for the bathing process is to cotton your baby's ears before you start washing him or her. Oh yeah, the ear slide, yeah. We're gonna get into the ears in a little bit. Cotton your baby's ears before you go about with washing him or her, specifically with pets that have floppy ears. If water gets in there, and it doesn't have a way to get out or to become ventilated, it may lead to ear infections, which I will get into in a little bit. Tip number 2 for bathing your baby, invest in a flea comb or a comb with really finely spaced teeth, to get in between those like nooks and crannies, especially like the eye boogers. It's not going, using a comb between your baby's eyes, it's not going to stop the tear staining. Tear staining is attributed to another factor that might be causing it. But definitely invest in a little tiny like flea comb so you can really like gently get those little eye crumbs out. Now, your pet is not particularly privy to having tools on his or her face. Boom, nature's tools right here. You got your fingers, just, massage out those little eye crusties. You want to do all that in the bath and the mouth crusties as well. Okay, so for ears, boom, boom, boom. So a lot of people don't really realize, but like your pet's ear health is important. So many puppies I've seen come in with ear infections, and their parents don't realize how important it is to make sure that their baby's ears stay dry, properly ventilated. And like I was mentioning before, specifically for pets that have floppy ears, air can't easily get through in there. If water winds up getting trapped in there, if there's hair in your pet's ear as well, that's going to aid in keeping the water and the moisture in there, and ear infection can ensue. So you want to make sure that you're not just checking that your pet's ears are clean, but making sure that you're taking the time to clean them as well, especially either before or after your baby's bath. So how do you clean your pet's ears? It's fairly easy. You would want to preferably invest in a pet-specific ear cleaner, one made for dogs and or cats. Stay away from citrus. Stay away from like peppermint scented ingredient type of solutions, because you don't want to cause irritation to your pet's ears. And you can just pour a little bit of the solution onto either a cotton ball or a Q-tip and basically clean the flaps of your pet's ear. And by the flaps, I mean the where you can see where it's in our little slideshow here, you see where it says the pinna for the dog ear. That's basically the flap. Clean the flap of your dog's ear with the solutioned cotton ball, and just the little ridges, the ridges that you can see in your pet's ear. Do not go any further than where you can see. The ear canal of a dog and a cat is somewhat similar to a human's ear canal. Only difference is the physical structure. Dog and cat ear canals kind of go on you do like an L-shaped kind of slant. And if you go down too far, there is risk of you puncturing your pet's eardrum. So do not go down further than where you can see when you're cleaning your pet's ear. Just little ridges. I never know what those call or what those are called, but just little ridges where you can see. Now, when a little tip, because I like to have little tips. When you're cleaning your pet's ear, make sure that you don't see ear infections ensuing. And you're probably wondering, how do I know if an ear infection is starting in my pet's ear? If you open up your pet's ear and the ear flap, or just even in the ear ridges, look really red, if they're swollen, and if you're noticing that the discharge coming out of the ear is an unnatural color, well, not unnatural, but a suspicious color, like really, really dark red, because dark red earwax, it can be attributed to ear mites as well, but that's something else. But like dark red earwax or dark brown, even green earwax, those signs are signs of possible ear infection ensuing in your baby's ears. And in instances like that, stop what you're doing and take your baby to the vet, because only a vet can give you solution to take care of that problem. Make sure that when you consult with your veterinarian, follow all of his or her instructions so you can make sure you clear that up. Also too, I know it may seem weird, but if you're not sure if your baby has an ear infection, but it seems a little weird, go ahead and take a whiff as well. I know it sounds weird, but me as a pet care professional, I've learned to use all of my senses when it comes to seeing if a pet has something going on. And so what I like to do is if I see the ears looking a little weird on the baby that I'm like servicing, I go ahead and I smell the ear and see if it smells a little wet or even a little yeasty, because in those cases the ear may be developing an ear infection, and in that you would want to take your baby to a vet. Okay, so those are the ears. All right, now on to nails. Every pet parent's biggest question that I've ever received as a pet care professional: how do I cut my pet's nails? You don't know how many times I've heard it. I don't even know how many times I've been asked that question to even write it down to tell you. Really, cutting your pet's nail is not as hard. Knowing the anatomy of your pet's nail is important though, just like knowing the anatomy of your pet's ear canal, because you don't want to do something that may accidentally cause more bad than good. So every pet's nail has a nail bed, which in the pet care professional world we call the quick, QWIK. So they have the quick or the nail bed, and then they have the nail growing out of the nail bed. So when cutting your pet's nails, you want to make sure that you never go past the pink part in your pet's nail. Each nail bed though, when it comes to pet nails, has a little tiny sliver that the human eye can't readily see that goes down into the white part of the nail. So when you're cutting your pet's nail, I would suggest cutting it at least like maybe like half a centimeter, maybe even a centimeter before you see the pink part in the nail, to ensure that you don't accidentally cut the bed. Okay, so you're like probably like, Annie, that's really helpful information for clear nails, but what about black nails? My dog has black nails. My dog has black nails as well. Actually, my Chihuahua has brown nails. So my advice for cutting black nails is to invest in a really good nail trimmer, and I'll suggest one a little bit that I swear by, but cut little by little until you see a little black dot in the middle of the black nail. That indicator right there lets you know that you've reached the nail bed and you don't want to go any further. Also, while you're cutting, me just as a pet care professional, I've discovered that as I'm cutting a pet's nail, the nail seems to get a little bit softer every time I go. It's a little shorter and shorter. So that can be another indicator for you as well, if you're a little bit hard of seeing. But with black nails, cut little by little, you see a little black dot in the middle of the nail. If you accidentally wind up cutting into the nail bed, do not fret. Do not go running and screaming into the night. It is okay. Just invest in some septic packer. And I wish I had a little vial right now with me to show you. But Septic, SYTPIC is how it's spelled. Just invest in a little bit of septic powder. You would want to take a little pinch of that and just press it into the wounded nail. It does sting a tiny bit. Sometimes pets do let out a little tiny yelp because it stings a little bit. It's like putting alcohol on a paper cut, really. It's like, that hurts. But it stings because of the antibacterial agents in it. So invest in that to put on your pet's nail. If you don't have septic powder, another little trick that you could do is, if you are a baker like myself, then you most likely have all-purpose flour in your cupboard. Use a little bit of all-purpose flour as well to put into the wounded nail. It's not it's not antibacterial, but it does coddle the bleeding and help it stop. If you wind up cutting the nails to the point where it's not, the bleeding is not stopping, or if you wind up cutting the nail to the point where now the nail bed is exposed, take your pet to a vet. Do not go ahead and try to treat it yourself, because basically the nail bed is exposed and infection can then now get into there. It's not a paper cut type of wound anymore. Now it's a more severe cut, and you would want to take your pet to his or her veterinarian so that it can be properly treated. As for nail trimmers that I would suggest, Sarah, if you can just go to the next slide there. I think I have. Oh, no more slide? Okay, that's me. I'm silly. A good nail trimmer that you can invest in is Miller's Forge nail trimmer. I swear by it. Though I've had only 2 in my whole three in my whole pet care professional life, and they last for about like 5 years. So really good nail trimmers. They're very sharp. And some sifting powder as well you can invest in. So that's my bit. And I'm going to throw
that is amazing. First, I wasn't sure if I was going to learn anything because you have dogs for so long, but I definitely picked up a few little tips there. Thank you so much for all that. You are incredible. And as great of a personality as Annie is on camera, the dogs love her. So if you need anybody to come to your home and help you out, give your dog a grooming, Annie and Marina can certainly assist. But I got to tell you,
voice.
It's totally your voice. But the cutting of the nails things, that really gives me severe anxiety. So you could do it for me.
I know, it gives everybody anxiety. It gave me anxiety when I first started.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you, Annie. And also just a little note, obviously there are no veterinarians on this panel. So we do still recommend that you bring your pet in for veterinary care, obviously. So just keep that in mind. This is not meant for that. Just some tips and tricks of the trade from Annie. Okay, great. So I will pass it along to.
Well, Jamie, if we have a second, I have our first question.
Please.
So this is for anyone here. Why do some dogs lick so much? I remember, Jamie, your dog Bailey really is a licker.
Yes.
He's always giving kisses. Very sweet.
And actually, just to, what he also does that you were talking about is on my other dog who gets a lot of the eye crusties. He licks her whole face. He cleans her up, which is very convenient, but he is a licker. So what do pet parents do, or is there anything or any tips that you all would know of that if somebody has a dog that it licks too much?
Well, if I can jump in. Definitely when a pet licks him or herself, of course they're cleaning. But if it's excessive, it may be either anxiety based or allergy based. With anxiety, I know that pets that lick themselves excessively, they wind up focusing on one area, like the groin or the paws, and biting their nails as well. If it's anxiety based. If it's allergy based, it's kind of the same, but it's just like the indicators that you notice are like discoloration of hair, and other things as well. It's like the skin may seem a little yeasty or flaky or red, and your pet is just licking him or herself to try to like soothe the irritation. Sometimes with the allergy-based licking, it that could possibly be treated by your veterinarian. But with anxiety, I haven't heard many kind of like cure-alls or so with anxiety, besides reducing just that factor that may be causing it.
Yeah, I would second absolutely everything you're saying. Brilliant.
Oh.
In addition to that, and to piggyback on that, sometimes when they lick excessively, you can get what they call hot spots. And that's, I think, that what you're talking about with the discoloration, sometimes even it can be loss of hair in specific areas when they really like, you'll see it a lot on limbs and on feet. Where they lick excessively in one specific area, like they're really working on a specific area. And that can be both anxiety or something that's actually causing an allergic reaction in the area. If you're noticing that, there are some quick fixes that you can get at pet stores or on Amazon and things like that, that are just sprays for hot spots. You don't want that to be your permanent fix though. If it's not something that gets better and starts to resolve, definitely bring your vet into the picture, because it could be something that might be a food allergy or seasonal allergies. I know a lot of pitty mixes are sometimes allergic to themselves, and sometimes that can become a little bit of an issue. For anxiety, I have noticed a lot of the rescue animals that we work with really respond well to either some light essential oils in the area, but be very careful and hear me very carefully say, there are a lot of essential oils that are toxic to animals. Please, 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 if you're going to put some sort of essential oils into a diffuser or into a natural spray into the room, that you definitely make sure that you're using the pet recommended amounts and types, not just what you would use for humans, because our feline friends and our pup friends react differently as well. So if you have cats and dogs in the house, you want to be really clear about what you're using in the home essential oil wise. But also CBD treats have had some really great success for for friends that are anxious or have a little bit of anxiety going on. Sometimes that can be really helpful. But again, definitely make sure that if you're going to add something like that into your pet's diet, I would absolutely talk to your vet first. Make sure that they don't have anything that's counterindicated that they already have going on. Samantha, that's such an organic transition for us. So why don't we introduce you now as the creator of Pup Pals and what Pup Pals does, and also talk us through some of the anxiety and transitioning our pets to when we do go back to work. Sure. Thank you so much. So Pup Pals is a 501c3 nonprofit that I co-created that helps what we call highly adoptable but overlooked animals find their forever homes faster. We work with nonprofit rescues and foster rescues, no-kill shelters around the entire country for free, and we help them highlight their fur friends that need the help. We want to, what we call, unplug those lanes of traffic. So what we're looking for are the animals that when you go to a rescue and you say, who is it here that you cannot believe is not adopted yet? That's the video we want to make. And especially in times like we are living in now, we're learning how important the online world is, how important video is, and that is how we like to introduce you to your new fur friend. Sarah, are you able to play the video? I don't know if anybody else can hear it. I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, we don't have audio.
Okay.
I don't hear it either.
Fun. And that's a great screenshot of my face looking incredulous at the moment.
Is that working?
A show and organization devoted to helping
There we
foster
go.
rescue dogs get adopted faster. Every day in the United States, over 3,000 dogs are euthanized. The numbers are staggering.
But we're not going to get all sad Sarah McLachlan on you. We're going to get hopeful and tell you how you can help us change that. Having worked in foster and rescue for over a decade, I found that the system used to get dogs adopted wasn't really showing them in their best light.
Basically, their options are either you go online, look at a couple photos, and a generic bio that says something like, Fluffy loves to cuddle and play with a ball, or going to a shelter and feeling pressure that you have to take one home. So to help that, we created Pup Pals, a show that uses high-quality video to create a comprehensive look at how a dog plays, interacts with humans and other dogs, and yes, even couples.
Within each video, we rate the dogs in easy-to-understand categories like housing, social skills, and how they share their food and toys.
Take Bear, for example. He was in foster care for over 4 months. No applications, no inquiries. So we met Bear and found all the qualities that make him unique, and it worked. Less than 5 days after his Pup Pal video went up, his forever family saw it and knew that he was the one.
Another good example is Treasure. This lovely lady had been waiting patiently for 10 months for her perfect family. We pointed out her strengths and her quirks and showed her in her normal environment. Sure enough, less than 2 weeks after her video went live, she was going to her forever family.
So we've talked about what kind of impact Pup Pals can have on the lives of these dogs, but we can't forget to talk about what happens when we pair a dog with this perfect human for, well, the human.
We adopted Treasure Madison, who we now call Maddie.
My name is Ryan Lane, and this is Bear.
Having the dog has changed our life considerably. It's hard to believe.
Typically, you just get to see a picture of them and a short blurb from the adoption agency. So it was really nice to see him kind of out and about with other dogs, other people.
When you're reading something about her, it's one thing, but when you hear somebody talking about it and you're seeing the aspects of it on video, it makes a huge difference.
It was nice to see something that was a little more honest.
The video showed me her real personality.
Having my first real own dog and seeing that he got comfortable enough around us to kind of bring us into his little wolf pack was just, probably one of my happiest moments, yeah.
We treat her like she's our daughter, and that's how we talk about her.
Pup Pals not only helps the pups and their forever families, but the rescues we work with also benefit. Take Treasure, for instance. We took the cost of 10 months of space fostering and taking care of a dog down to 2 weeks. That means in the same time they had Treasure, they may have been able to save up to 20 more dogs. That also means 20 times the adoption fees, which can run from $100 to $400 on average.
Please feel free to share with your friends and family and fellow animal lovers.
We really need your help to make this dream a reality. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to welcoming you to the pack.
Thanks, Sarah. So that's a little bit about what we do, and we're big proponents of the foster system, which is what we're seeing a lot of right now in the time of COVID. Everyone's in quarantine and opening their home up to new fur friends and being willing to help transition some of these animals that have found themselves in the shelter system in this country into homes so that they can decompress and they can be ready for the rest of their lives with their forever families. So one of the places that we work very closely with and who I personally, as a human being, not as Pup Pals, but who I foster with, is a rescue called Louie's Legacy Animal Rescue. Louie's Legacy is present in the New York tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, even a little bit of Pennsylvania, and also in the Cincinnati tri-state area as well. They save around 2,000 plus animals a year. In the foster system, it is not a brick and mortar, so it is all foster-based rescues. And I'd love to talk a little bit more about how to help transition your foster pet or permanent pet or your own pet while you've been home, which they love, into what's going to happen when they are having to let you go back to work. As things normalize. But I'm just going to show you a quick thing about Louie's Legacy so you get to hear a little bit more about this amazing rescue. Sarah?
Hi pals, today we're here with Louie's Legacy Animal Rescue.
My name is Emily Geer, and I'm the founder and president of Louie's Legacy Animal Rescue, operating in Staten Island, New York, and Cincinnati, Ohio. We are a foster-based nonprofit animal rescue. We work with pets from high-kill shelters and sometimes pets from the community. We bring them into foster homes who are all volunteer. We get them ready behaviorally and also medically to be placed into forever homes. I started it in memory of my first dog, Louie, who I saved before I even knew what animal rescue was. And he came to me in a time in my life when I was struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder. From that experience, I realized there were so many dogs in animal shelters who could help other people as much as people saving them could help them. And that's why I decided to give up my career and start an animal rescue. Foster homes are very important because it allows us to put the dogs in our own homes so that we could see how they will behave in your home if you adopt. So it gives an adopter a much better idea of what kind of pet they're adopting.
To learn more, go to louislegacy.org. And to learn how to help Pup Pals station more groups like Louie's Legacy, go to www.wearethepupPals.com or click on the links in the description below.
Thank you, Sarah.
So Louie's Legacy, as you heard, is a foster-based rescue, and right now, we have seen a major uptick in animals not only being surrendered to the shelters, but people that are willing to step up and bring them into their homes, which is amazing because we can't save them unless we have a place for them to go to safety. And that's where the general public comes in by being willing to be foster families. With that comes a lot of different things going on in your house, especially in a time of quarantine where we're all locked in here, not doing our normal routines. We're not getting up, we're not going out to work, or at least most of us are not. We're not leaving the house to go for a party and coming back. And so our pets, who are loving the fact that we are around all the time, are also unfortunately going to be left with a little bit of upheaval when things normalize again. And so the biggest question that we get asked in terms of fostering new fosters who are doing this for the first time, who are saying, they're talking about crate training, or they're talking about how do I keep from having separation anxiety become a thing? Because as we all know, getting ahead of a problem and keeping it from becoming a problem is much easier than trying to fix the problem once it's locked in there. And so what we always suggest, what I'm a very big proponent of, is making sure that you start the foundation early. When I get personally a new foster that comes in from transport, the first day or two, they are shell-shocked. It's a lot for them. It's a huge transition emotionally. And just like people, when your world gets turned upside down, you need a minute to decompress and kind of figure out where you're safe and who your safe people are. And that's where we as fosters come in, is that's our job, to give them lots of love and to create safe boundaries so that they can really find a way to breathe it out and become the best dog that they can be in the best way that they can be. So the first day or two, we try to just let our fosters kind of relax, sniff out the new environment, sniff us out, make sure that they know that we're safe people that are going to keep them happy and healthy, that their next meal is coming, and that this is where we go outside, and this is our new schedule and routine. And then as things start to progress, we start to put into practice things like crate training. Crate training, if you're not familiar with it, if it's something you've never done, can sound really harsh. Putting them in a crate, you're locking them away, but that's not the goal at all. In fact, the crate is supposed to be a positive thing. It's never supposed to be used for punishment. It's supposed to be used as a safe place where your pet can go that's their own space. And so when you are leaving the house, if you want to acclimate them to being alone without you and you don't want to come home to a half-eaten couch, which can happen, then a crate can be a really great tool for that. Crate or not, regardless, if you are working on keeping separation anxiety at bay, the best thing is to slowly work into it. So tell your pup, I'm heading out, I'll be right back, you're in charge of the house, and make it a light, positive thing. Leave, give yourself 5 minutes. Go out in the hallway, walk outside, go grab a cup of coffee with your mask, of course, and socially distanced. But make sure that you give yourself just a little bit of time and then come back and then praise them. Good job. You did a wonderful job while I was gone. I'm so proud of you. Then in a little while, go out for 10 more minutes. And each time you're going to want to extend the time just a little bit. If they are barking, if they're whining, you want to try to wait that out. So if you go into the hallway, for instance, if you live in an apartment building like I do here in New York City, you kind of want to give an ear, listen until they calm down. When they calm down, give it another couple minutes, then go back in and give them the praise. The idea is to make them understand we're always coming back. You don't have to worry. Everything is fine. And that's really where we come in as pet parents and as fosters. The biggest thing I get asked when I'm working on training and such is how to effectively communicate with our fur babies. And the two best things I've ever heard and the best things I've ever found to implement has been understanding tone and understanding, funny enough, facial expressions. So dogs actually process what our faces are doing and the tone of our voice. So when they're doing something that we want them to do, especially when it comes to separation anxiety, the more upbeat we can be, the more positive we can be, the more they will receive that in a positive way. So for us to say, hey, you're doing a great job. You're doing the best dog stuff ever. I'm so proud of you. And just keep doing what you're doing is going to instill in them, hey, my pack leader is happy with me. What I'm doing is a good thing. I should keep doing this, because ultimately they want to make us happy just like we want to make them happy. And so if they're doing something that we don't want, we can make a big frown face. It's the most dramatic we can make it, and lower our tone. And it will help them understand, this is something my pack leader doesn't really want. Maybe I should steer clear of that. So it can be really helpful to just implement those little bit of tools into whatever training you're doing already. I promise you it will make a big difference. But with separation anxiety, the best thing you can do really is just take your time. There is nothing to replace time with your pet or with your foster. That's the one thing we can't shortcut, is the time that takes to repeat and to help them decompress and be comfortable. But ultimately, that is the number one thing that we can be doing right now during quarantine to help prepare our pets for when we return to something more normal. Because what we don't want is to have it be such a stark change that they don't know what's going on and they feel uneasy. It's a great way for us to kind of level the playing field for them. And especially if you are fostering or considering fostering or have just welcomed a rescue dog into your home, first of all, thank you so much. You are making such a big difference and you are saving lives, literally. And just implement that. Take your time with your foster or your rescue. Give them the time to decompress. Give them the time to normalize in your home, and start trying your best to give them what is going to be normal for them so that the contrast won't be as stark.
Awesome.
That is terrific. Thank you. So, oh, we have a guest.
Guest.
Yeah, we've got two. We have two.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. I know we have some questions. Why don't we break off into Marina's presentation, and then we can go into the questions. And I also just wanted to let everyone know that we have a fun poll and lots of fun questions. Why don't we do the poll now? How about that? Would that be fun? We'll break?
Yes.
All right,
yes.
cool. So I'm going to launch a poll right now.
All right, so everybody answer your questions and we will get scores.
Is everybody seeing the poll? Great. So just take a few more seconds to go through and answer these questions. We do have some fun prizes, little gifts for a few people who we want you to be as interactive. So ask a lot of questions and answer the poll, and then we will be able to review all that after this this webinar is over, and hand out a few fun little gifts for people. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll in just a couple more seconds to give everyone time. Looks like we've got some answers coming in.
And also the people who have questions in the Q&A, we'll get to those right after Marina does her slides. And hopefully everybody will be engaged and ask more questions.
All right, I'm going to end the poll. Maybe we'll keep it going. Let everybody answer the questions. Marina, why don't we move on to your segment? Marina?
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Just turn your video on.
Okay.
Cool.
I can't. The host has disabled it.
Okay, here we go. I asked to start your video.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Can you see me okay?
Yes, there you are.
Great.
All right, we'll get to the answers of the pop quiz after, and in the meantime, take it away, Marina. Marina and Annie work together at Asbury Bark. I'm excited to have you here. And we have a slide presentation for you too.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking a little bit about doggy dental care, the condition of the hair, and some products and tools you can use at home to groom your baby. We understand that the professionals are harder to reach right now, and now it might be a good time to learn a little bit more about your pet. So I've been grooming for quite a while. My business partner and I started about a year ago with our business, and now we just want to teach people to take care of their own fur baby when we can't, if that makes any sense at all. So if we can go to the next slide. Okay, doggy dental care is essential. There should be some words that are gonna, okay, good. It keeps the vet away, keeps their breath clean, and keeps them out of a lot of discomfort. Dogs don't usually complain about dental pain, but it's there. Daily toothbrushing is essential. If you can't brush your dog's teeth every day for whatever reason, be it time or your fur baby won't let you, use a water additive. Water additives are the best way to ensure that every time they're drinking water, they're cleaning their teeth, fighting plaque and tartar and bad breath. Some dogs can't use a water additive due to allergies or skin sensitivities. If that's the case, ask your vet what you should do, but daily brushing is probably preferred to dental treats or water additives if that's the case. Otherwise, they'll get used to the taste in their water. It's really not that bad. It might taste a little bit minty, or just like, well, something's been added to my water, or sort of the way the water tastes in another state, but after a while they acclimate, and it's really, really important. Next slide, please. Okay, clippers and blades. Most of you have very hairy dogs that are getting hairier and hairier as time goes on, and you can't reach the pros. So a home use clipper in the right price range is important, but it can be confusing. Clippers in the $50 to $70 price range usually have an adjustable blade, which personally I don't like. Adjustable blades take up all blade sizes from 30 to usually 7. If you've never used a 30 blade before, that's going to be confusing and scary to you. 30 blades and 40 blades are often used by veterinarians for surgical shaving, or by groomers for clipping underneath a guide comb to get an accurate style. So if you wanted a 1/2 inch all over, we would use a 30 under a 1/2 inch comb. If that makes any sense. You would not want to use a 30 all over your dog's body. Conversely, you might not also want to use a 10 blade, which is considered safer, all over your dog's body since it's very short. My favorite clipper for if I were just going to have a pet at home and maintain them as needed in between professional visits, I would get the Andes Easy Clip Groom. I have that in the products list at the end of this slideshow, and this entire video plus the slideshows will be posted later, so you'll be able to look up the entire product list after that. The Easy Clip Groom has an affixed 10 blade. The 10 blade is the safest blade for sanitary areas like the butthole and belly area, and is safe for any part of your dog's body. It can be used underneath a guide comb. Guide combs usually come with the clipper. We do have guide combs in our product list, and it'll help you just get a nice, neat little style on your pet without having to buy every single blade. The affixed blade keeps you from varying between blade lengths. Unfortunately, it does need to be sent back to the manufacturer when it grows dull. Dull blades can snag the skin. They'll pull and drag on the hair without cutting it. If you do have a dull blade, send it back immediately to be sharpened. And also, blades heat up. When you're using it every 10 or 15 minutes, press the blade to the inside of your forearm, the inner part of your forearm. It's the most sensitive part of your arm. It'll tell you whether or not the blade is warm. If it's warm to you, it's scalding hot to your pet and should be cooled down or removed and switched out to another blade. Clippers with detachable blades are usually in the $170 to $200 range, which is a little bit much for home use. It's more of a professional tool. It's made for more heavy-duty things. The blades can add up. You don't really need to buy each and every single one, just really the ones you need for your fur baby, which would be the 10 for sanitary areas and even paw pads, and a few guide combs just to arrange the hair in a way that doesn't look unkempt. And can we go to the next slide? Hair has layers. What you're going to want to do when brushing or combing your fur baby is to make sure the majority of their hair is underneath your hand. You want to comb layer by layer, and I say comb specifically. The slicker brush is great, but you definitely need a greyhound comb. It's a steel comb. It really does help get those little tangles out. Little tangles become big tangles. They love to tangle up on themselves and grow. So move all of your pet's hair under the palm of your hand and gently, layer by layer, brush it out. For dogs without too much hair, dogs who shed more rather than have multiple layers of silky hair, this isn't as necessary, but you know, it's really more for long-haired dogs. And can we go to the next slide? Okay, and now my favorite topic, matted hair. Matted hair is hair that occurs when it's been neglected for too long. This hair cannot be salvaged. I get a lot of people asking me to detangle a very matted dog. They want the hair long, they want it fluffy, they want it cute. And unfortunately, if they wanted that, they should have done something about it before the hair got to this length or this level. As you're probably all aware, we all shed, long-haired dogs, short-haired dogs, and people. When a long piece of hair is going to fall out, it falls out of your human hair and onto the floor. Animals are different. When a long piece of hair has reached its lifespan and is going to fall out, it gets trapped in your pet's outer layers of coat. If it's not combed out, it's going to tangle in there. When a dog's hair is matted, most of that hair was meant to fall out naturally or was meant to be combed out and wasn't. So most of it isn't viable. People who want their dogs really detangled don't know how patchy that coat's going to look underneath. The worst of it all is trying to detangle a coat this matted feels like body waxing for a dog. Humans know what waxing is like. Women get their legs waxed. Some men wax their backs. Dogs don't understand waxing. They should not be put through it. If your dog is severely matted, the only thing we can do, or the only thing you can do, is remove the matting, going with a short haircut, and give them time to grow back as well as proper maintenance. And next slide. All right, and now we get to talk about tools such as water additives, slicker brushes, and greyhound combs. I mentioned water additives earlier in my presentation. One of my favorite brands is Tropiclean, shown here in the picture. Another good brand is Healthy Mouth. They're only sold through healthymouthllc.com. They're a much smaller business, all human grade products, all made in the US. But if you want something fresh, minty, and easily accessible through Amazon or anywhere else, there's Tropiclean. The slicker brush too, really essential tool, helps with shedding, detangling. The greyhound comb is depicted there. I also have listed the Andes Pro Clip, the Andes Easy Clip, and a few pre-made kits. Another thing I really like are the wall guide combs. They fit onto Andes clippers as well as wall clippers, and most Andes or wall blades. Adjustable blades, however, will need a different kind of guide comb, and you do have to be careful when shopping with an adjustable blade, but hopefully you can avoid that. I have no further input. This is the end of my slideshow, so I will gladly take questions.
Thank you so much. Thanks,
That was
Amanda.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Fantastic. We do have lots of questions, and we have the answers to our poll, and we do have a few more minutes left. We're happy to stay on with our experts to answer any questions that you may have. So why don't we just go quickly through some of our questions so we can get to that, and we'll also go over the poll.
Okay, so we have our first question is very timely for today. How do dogs know a storm is approaching? I'll throw this to all of our
Perfect
experts.
for today.
Well, the pressure changes in the air, the smell of rain in the air. You know, we can even smell the changes, like, oh, it smells like rain today. but generally barometric pressure changes, distant thunder, they can feel and hear it far more acutely than we can. They can feel vibrations far more acutely than we can. My advice is to find your pet's favorite hiding spot and make it super comfy for them.
Great advice. A lot of pets get extremely nervous and very sensitive. Are you supposed to like coddle them or not?
My phone died.
You can
Crap,
absolutely
crap.
coddle a little bit.
Sorry.
You want to make it so that they are as comfortable as possible. So if that for you and your pet is your pet wanting to be like right on top of you, right with you, then that's certainly okay to see them that way. Absolutely. A lot of folks here in New York, especially when it's like fireworks out or things like that, loud sounds that they just can't escape, make a little like comfy cave-like area in their bathroom where they turn the lights down, maybe bring a small night light in and lots of blankets and some classical music, and just kind of make a little shelter for them where it can kind of dampen out some of the extra noises. She was absolutely right that a lot of times it's just the things that we don't perceive as well because their senses are so much better than ours. But it's like a person who goes, oh, rain's coming, I can feel it in my knee. Dogs get that before us as well. They can feel, like she said, the pressure changes, the smell differences, all of that stuff plays into it. So they know it's coming. I have a lot of fosters that go on pee strike when a storm is coming. I'm like, there's no rain. It's beautiful outside. What are you doing? But they won't go outside because they know it's coming. So it's a lot of times, like I was talking about with the tone of voice, making sure that we are setting the tone for them. So when they're nervous about something, it's kind of like, I equate it to toddlers. When a toddler is running and falls and like skins a knee and they kind of look up at you and you have that moment to decide whether or not you're going to go, oh no, are you okay? Or you're going to go, you're fine, shake it off. And we kind of help dictate to them what the next step is for them emotionally, right? So our animals are exactly the same way. They look to us as the pack leaders to help determine whether or not something is something they need to be cautious about and react to, or something that they are totally okay with just letting kind of fall off their back. So when something like that is happening and they're starting to get anxious, we can absolutely reach out to them, start giving them snuggles, maybe a couple more treats, and just, it's okay. I know this is scary. We're going to get through this together, and it's okay. And when the thunder rumbles, just some extra pets and loving, and just, you're okay. We're okay. I know it's scary, but we're okay. I know I sound like a crazy lady sometimes, but I'm a big proponent of talking to my animals. And having
Don't worry, I get it.
You're not crazy.
I get it. It's okay. All right, let's move on. That's great. How about another question? We have a question about cats and helping your cat be a little bit more active and not gaining weight.
So there are a couple things you can do. If your cat is gaining weight, let me first say, yes, it could be activity, but let's not discount based on, as I don't know the person's actual cat or their age or other things going on. Let me very clearly say, as a not vet, that if they are gaining weight and they are being somewhat active, it's maybe potentially worth just kind of mentioning it to your vet and making sure it's not something like thyroid or something that's easily fixable, that could be causing a little bit of weight gain. Now, if it is just a lazy cat that needs to be more active, you could go as far as deciding, if as long as they're vaccinated and up to date on all of the stuff that the world could throw at them, perhaps a kitty harness. Lots of cats like to be exposed to different stimulus, and we forget sometimes that when we have them in our homes, we get to leave the home and go interact with other sights and smells and people, and our cats, unlike our dogs, don't really get to do that as much. So even doing something like those little kitty book bags that have like a little bubble on them so they can go out and see different things and interact with different smells, just like our canine friends, their senses are way more heightened. So just even a little bit of exposure to different sights and smells and sounds can be really stimulating for them and help kind of get them out of a slump.
It's actually interesting that you say that, because we were at the park and there was somebody that came with their cat on a harness and had a little picnic with their cat. Yeah. And it's just like, you don't see it that often.
Yep.
It looks a little strange,
Yep.
but I would have thought that the cat was a little bit, not most cats aren't used to that.
Right.
But the cat seemed really fine and happy there. So
yeah. It's something that we don't think about because you don't walk your cat, right? You don't take your cat for walks, but they do, especially if your cat is by itself in the home. An interesting thing that I learned through rescue that I didn't know before I started into the world of rescue is that when adopting out kittens, we adopt them out in pairs. For socialization and for them to be able to interact with each other, because we as humans sometimes think, oh, my cat is so easy, it just hangs out and comes to me when it wants to. But there are other parts of being a cat that it sometimes misses by not having a feline companion that dogs inherently get because we take them out of the house. We take them on walks. They get to interact with the smells of the neighborhood. They get to interact with other dogs. And so they're getting stimulated that way in the way that our cats sometimes miss out on.
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
I will say I have seen people walking cats on more than one occasion in the city. So it does happen. There's a guy who used to walk his cat in my old neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's strange to see, you're taken back a little bit. Like, did I just see someone walking their cat?
Although I've seen many cats that are bigger than Chihuahuas, so I have to look twice.
That's my cat.
So great. We would love some more insight. Another question about brushing teeth, and specifically when your pet doesn't love to have their teeth brushed.
Okay. The best thing to do is to approach with confidence. The more confident you are, the less afraid your pet is that they can't sense your fear if you're not afraid. Definitely pick your fur baby up if possible, if they're, the right size, and never come at them from the front. A dog doesn't respond well to something coming at their face forward. Come at them from the side, lift up the lip with one finger. It's not necessary to get in the mouth the way we brush our teeth. We brush the outer side, tops, and back. Dogs don't appreciate having the tops and back of their teeth brushed. They don't like to say ah. So you just lift up the lip, stick the toothbrush in there or your finger with the rubber tooth or dental wipe. Rub your finger over the outer layer of teeth, underneath the lip, and release. You really only need to hold the top of the snout and lift the lip with one finger, or apple hold, which is when you just hold the little head like an apple. If you have a much larger dog, utilize your knees, straddle their shoulders, come at them from the top and the side, not over, just as long as you're not looming over their face.
Great.
And also, if I can add too, like what Marina was saying, dogs, mostly when you see tartar building on their teeth, it's usually on the outer part of the teeth. So if getting into their mouth is particularly hard for a pet parent, then there are other alternatives as well. Treats, like dental treats, like what Marina was talking about, you can use, or even like dental type of toys, or even chew bones too, that your dog has access to and can chew on at their desire, at their leisure, and that will help combating tartar.
Those chew toys are great, and I think even just having probably those the pads, like the lick pads, with putting a little toothpaste in there. I happen to like CET. My dogs like CET toothpaste. So one loves brushing his teeth. It's like weird. The other one, not so much, but at least she'll lick. She will let me hold the toothbrush out and let me hold it out. So she'll lick the toothpaste off. And that at least is doing something. you know.
It is, and it's not essential to scrub. A lot of people think that because there is a toothbrush that they have to brush. The toothpaste they use are far more potent in enzymes than anything we would be able to use. Their saliva, too, breaks down a lot of plaque and tartar. As long as the toothpaste enters their mouth and sort of swishes around in their saliva, it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll just throw my finger back there.
Perfect.
Toothpaste on and
Yeah.
get it inside so that and then they can, you know, use their tongue and swish it around. So
Yeah.
or like they love the poultry and the beef flavor CET. So
Yeah.
it's
Perfect.
not a challenge, even for my dog that doesn't like to have her teeth brushed. Like the other one is a chewer, so he'll chew on the toothbrush, but the other one is not. So she really just wants to she just wants the toothpaste, and I'm happy with that. Like, no problem, here you go. We are certainly not ignoring your question, Linda. We'll have a video of this so that we can pass on to you. And maybe right after this, we can go back to cutting nails, just to repeat that little segment. Let's do the poll really quickly. So this is very exciting. So dogs can only see in black and white. True or false?
False.
This was an even split. 46% thought true and 54% felt it was false. And the truth is that it's false.
Yeah. It's usually, I think comparatively, dogs see in the way that a colorblind person can see. So they can see reds and greens, like those kind of hues.
They don't see as, you know, the same way we do, but they do see color, which I think it's like maybe it was a myth that you know, dogs can only see in black and white, because I think I've heard that a million times.
Yeah.
Through what part of the body do dogs sweat? Armpits, ears, nose, or paws?
I'm excited for this question, but I'm going to let everyone answer it first.
Okay, well, we did a very good job on this. So there was 31% felt it was the nose, and 69% said paws.
Excellent.
0 for the others.
So it is the paw, and there's something very important about the paws. In between the pads, they grow hair. That hair can get tangled, picks up a lot of dirt, it gets wet, it holds moisture. It has to be removed if there's an excess of it. The way to do that with your handy dandy clipper, with nothing higher than a 10 or a 15, you kind of have to try to get between the toes. The 10 blade is not likely to nick your baby's paw pads, even the sensitive skin, the sensitive webbing. If you have a Portuguese water dog, do not do this at all. They have webbed feet. It's a lot scarier than it sounds to try to scoop out the paw pad. The 10 blade is safe. Unless you're pressing ungodly hard, you're not going to harm your baby. So if you just hold the foot the way you would do for a nail trim so that the bottom of the foot is facing you, and just move their pads to get between them and gently scoop.
Awesome. So the next one is, which of the following dog breed is the smallest of them all? Chihuahua, Dachshund, Shih Tzu, or Pomeranian? So 15% said Pomeranian, 15% said Shih Tzu, no one said Dachshund, and 69 said Chihuahua. I have a 17-pound Chihuahua mix, but so it's not normal, but they are typically very small, and that's actually the answer. So most everyone got that right. Similarly, another question was, according to the American Kennel Club, what is the most popular breed of dog in the United States? Golden Retriever, Labrador Retriever, Poodle, Beagle, Yorkshire Terrier. What are your thoughts? What's the most popular?
You would think Yorkshire Terrier, because that's all I see out here.
New York, it's Yorkshire Terrier.
Probably in Manhattan.
Yeah.
8% said Yorkshire Terrier. No one said Beagle. 8% said Poodle. 31% said Labrador Retriever, 54% said Golden Retriever. I threw Golden Retriever in to, you know, confuse everybody, but it is Labrador Retriever.
Yeah, I thought it was golden.
There's so many lab mixes too, especially when if you are getting a rescue animal from one of the high kill areas in the South. Everything is a Lab X or Shep X.
Yeah.
Lab mix, Shep mix, Pity mix, Hound mix. You're going to see all 4 of those come at you real fast. But
Poodles as well. Everything's a poodle mix.
Yeah, especially now with the doodles. There's a poodle popping up everywhere now.
Yes. Exactly. These questions, by the way, Lisa put together are all fabulous. I love these questions. And I'm excited to see the mix of answers, too.
Not for baby Annie.
Yeah.
This is Sherman. This is Sherman.
Yes.
He's basically, I think he's like a beagle inside of a cat. He's very big. He's very big.
Likes to be
But
helped,
thanks for your
too.
advice, Samantha, on all the what you were talking about with helping a chunky cat lose weight. Because when I got him, he was big, and I just figured, that's he's just big.
And some of them are big boned.
He's a big one. He's husky.
Hi, buddy.
You say hi, Sharmy.
We had a cat that loved Doritos, so she would only come out for a Dorito. Cool Ranch were her favorite. So next question, is it cheaper to spay or neuter a dog than it is to raise it? It is cheaper to spay or neuter a dog than it is to raise a litter of puppies for 1 year. True or false?
True.
100%
True.
True. Yep.
I'm sure Samantha has some background for that one.
Also, you get a lot more sleep over the course of that year if you choose to raising a litter.
Those litters are so cute too.
They are, and I'll tell you, one of the
so
common
cute.
misconceptions in rescue, there are twofold. One is that you're not going to find purebred animals, that's a sticking point. That's not true. We get purebred animals into rescue all the time. And the other misconception is if you spay and neuter all the animals, we won't have any more puppies. Totally not true. Just the little tidbit of want information is that we currently in the United States euthanize over 3 million cats and dogs in shelters every year. And that's the ones that we count. So even if we, for the next decade, were to spay and neuter the animals that are not in a breeding program, like guide dogs and service animals, or what we call responsible breeders, people who have the mother and father animal on the property where you can go and meet the parent animals, where you can meet the puppies and see where they're being raised and held and know that the breeders are making sure that there are no genetic issues and that they're responsibly raising the next generation of animals. If we just kept it to that, we would still have more than enough animals to give everybody an animal in their home. And so if we could, Bob Barker said it for years, spay and neuter your animals, and it helps the entire situation, and it will exponentially diminish the number of lives that are lost.
Lisa, I think it said it was about 200 or so. I thought that was.
It's about 200 to spay or neuter. And the cost to raise a puppy for 1 year is approximately $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big difference. And that's one puppy, not the litter.
Not 12.
Yeah.
I love this. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. There are a lot of places that actually will do spay and neuter for free. There are resources in a lot of areas, especially big cities, not just New York, but most big cities have some sort of, like in New York, we have the Mayor's Alliance for Animals that has low cost and free vet care and spay and neuter for specifically people who may not be able to afford that but want to keep their companion animal in their home, for senior citizens to help with vaccinations and to make sure that our pet companions are staying healthy, even though we may, like in the time of a pandemic, come on hard times, so that we can keep them in the home and not be turned into a shelter.
Awesome. We have one other question in the poll that I want to get to. What is the name of the dog on the front of the Cracker Jack box? Jack, Max, Bingo, or Fido?
I would hope it's Jack. I'm not sure.
Lisa, what is it, Lisa?
I don't know if that's right.
Bingo.
My gut says Max.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Jack and his dog Bingo.
Oh, that's cute.
But Jack won
Jack and
because it just seemed like the obvious answer. So Jack was 46%, Max 23%, Bingo 23%, and Fido 8%. So very close call. Everybody did a really awesome job. So like I said, we're gonna go through the polls and also some of the questions, and we're gonna send out a couple of gifts to our most active and the people who answered the most correct questions. And that's it. I don't know if anybody has any other questions for us. Please feel free to quickly jump in and ask them away in the Q&A. But if we can do a quick little repeat on the nail cutting, Linda wanted to know about cutting and trimming the nails. I just wanted to do a quick little repeat on that.
So for clear nails, it's a little easier to see. I have my cat here, who is, I don't know, he must be part dog because he lets me do anything. He lets me cut his nails too. And if you could see can you see his nail? Like the little pink part there?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
Tony. It's easier with clear nails because basically when you're cutting the nail, you don't want to go past that pink part in the nail. With black nails, it's a little bit harder because you can't easily see the pink part in the nail, the nail bed or the quick. So you would want to cut starting at the tip and working your way down, sliver by sliver, until you see a little black dot in the middle of the nail. That's the indicator that you've reached the nail bed. The best position to hold your pet's paw, at least for dogs, is to hold your dog have your baby facing like this way, his head facing this way, and you're facing this way. And you're holding your baby like a football. And that way you're holding the paw in its natural position. You know, when a dog picks up his or her feet, it's usually like, the kick or so. Hold it in a natural position. I wouldn't suggest holding your baby's paw up in the air. That's not a very natural position for your pet. With cats, it's a little different. Hold it in its natural position, and you can see the nail a little bit better, and your pet is in a comfortable position where he or she is less likely to fight you from discomfort.
And the other thing is, like, especially with dogs, when they go out and they kick back, they are filing and trimming their nails.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a dog that you walk off, like, you walk your dog a lot and you go for long walks, it might not even be as necessary to trim so often or maybe even ever, because they file it on the ground, especially if you live in New York City and you walk them often.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. If you walk your dog for at least 30 minutes per day, they will start to file their own nails down. A lot of small dogs don't get walked enough, which leads to not only nails that are too long, but anal gland problems such as blockages, infections, etc. If they're not expressing their own anal glands, they need a vet or a groomer to do it for them too often. It's not as healthy for them as if they express it themselves and if they're filing their nails down themselves. Speaking of filing, there's also a nail Dremel if you're too scared to use the Miller's Forge nail trimmer, which we've recommended. I've added the Dremel onto our product list, I believe. You do want to be looking at the nail. It does help to put your baby up on a kitchen counter or dining room table. And the football hold will help them from walking too far away from you when they're trying to they are going to wiggle, they are going to dance, they're not going to stay still.
But the football hold helps because you're able to keep your baby close to you while also getting a good handle.
Fantastic. Well, I don't want to take up too much of everyone's time. Does anybody want to have a last word or another tip or any good thoughts to close us out with?
I would like to quickly say, if you are
thinking about fostering, please do. You can reach out to the wonderful folks at Louie's Legacy Animal Rescue. It's louislegacy.org. And if you are already working with a rescue somewhere in the country that you think could use our help, the Pup Pals comes to anywhere in the United States. Please not Alaska or Hawaii yet, because we can't fly there during pandemic. But any place we can drive, we come for free to help rescues out. So please do reach out to us. We are the puppals.org or puppals.org. Drop us a line and let us know how we can help.
And we're also going to put together a new Next Stop New York Pet Lovers Facebook page, or Facebook group, I should say. So if you have questions after today, you can contact us and we'll have our panelists answer whatever questions that you have. We'll reach out to you with our Facebook group once it's organized.
And Lisa, Sarah, and myself are happy to help you find a home that your pet is allowed to enter with. So it's we know lots of pet-friendly buildings, and this is a vitally important aspect of our career. So we're very happy to help you if you are in the process of moving. But wanted to thank you all for joining us. Lisa, Sarah, you both did an amazing job organizing.
You did, Jamie.
And thank you, Samantha, Marina, Annie. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
My dogs can't wait to see you. And we wanted to thank everyone for coming.
And for staying on for so long. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.